the Zoom call notes or the sermon notes first. I'm gonna let whoever decide. Whoever says first. But yeah, I'm not into football. But I'm by Dayton. I'm in Dayton. I'm by Cincinnati. So we're Bengals fans. We are not anything. I'm not anything. I ain't actually watched a football game. I haven't watched a football game in a long time, but I do t-shirts and stuff. And so for the past couple years, we did the Bengals t-shirts, and they were so fun. They were so fun. We did like hundreds of them for the local people. But yeah, I don't know nothing about the Browns. Hi, I'm in Dayton. What's up, Dayton? Interested in joining the group? What's it all about? You're in Dayton, Ohio? You here by me? You my neighbor? You're my neighbor? The women's group is an accountability group. It's like a mentorship group, I suppose. You can click the link in my bio. You get added into close friends on Instagram. You get added into the group chat on Instagram where we just talk back and forth. It's literally an accountability group. So we add like positive vibes in there. And then every Monday night at 7 p.m. EST, we have a live Zoom call. Dano, how that's wild. Do I know you? What school did you go to? Look, I've been here my whole life. Where you at? Where you at? I actually live right outside of Dayton. I just say Dayton because it's the bigger city. And if I say my actual city, people gonna be like, "What's that?" Like, so I just say I'm from Dayton. But I did venture to the Dayton Library randomly. I don't know if you know anything about what I'm talking about, but I did venture to the Dayton Library for the first time the other day. I was like, this is huge. It was like 3 stories. When I say I was having a time in there, I was lost. How you get lost in the library? Baseball and basketball, some football and hockey. Yeah, I'm not a sports. I'm definitely not a sports nerd like you. According to your username. The only time I'm really into sports is because my son, I have a 7-year-old, and he's an all-around athlete, so he plays everything. Outdoor soccer, indoor soccer, flag football, basketball. Like, he loves all the things. So I'm a sports mom for sure. Like, I'm gonna put on the gear. I'm gonna pull out my little lawn chair. But no, actually last year for flag football, he was the Bengals. They were the Bengals. And so I was hype. I'm like, I got Bengals gear. Come on. I was out there with the beanie, the chair, the hat, the scarf. Like, never seen a Bengals game, really. I've gone tailgating and stuff. That was fun. Anyway, sermon first? Okay, sermon first. I moved here from Indiana 3 years ago. No way. That's awesome. Small world. What's up? We gotta link up one day. That's crazy to see a day in person in here. All right, sermon notes. The sermon is PMJ. It's Rock City TV on YouTube. And the sermon, I believe, was titled No Shortcuts. That was off the top of my head, but I'm pretty positive it was called No Shortcuts. What are your hobbies? Child, I don't really have no hobbies. I like to work out. I like to read. And then I like to be with my son. That's really it. I'm either watching podcasts, gaining knowledge, reading books, or talking to y'all. It's like I'm either working or chilling, learning. Okay, let me see where I knew I put a line this morning because I was watching this at the gym, crying. It was so good. There was this one part that I kept skipping back to. Y'all ever see a part in the sermon that just hits you like a ton of bricks, and you just keep going back and replaying the whole thing? I'm like, I ain't never gonna finish this if I don't stop rewinding it. But it was so good. Okay, let me see where I left. I think, yeah, yesterday we left off saying God won't release the promise when we skip the process. He won't put you somewhere you're not prepared for. So today I started like halfway through the sermon, obviously. The first thing I wrote was, in certain seasons of your life, you need to stop asking God to fix it and ask God to fix you. Hi, Brett. I think, do I know you? The way you said Chelsea, I feel like I know you. Hold on. Maybe I don't. But what's up, friend? Oh, wait, is it Brit? Did you change your profile picture? Like Brittany? I think it is. Anyway, in certain seasons of your life, you need to stop asking God to fix it and ask God to fix you. PMJ said, if God fixes me, I can in turn fix it. Beautiful, beautiful. There's certain things God won't take you out because you need to sit in it and feel. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was salty about this one. Like, that was one of the things I was like, I don't want to hear that, because that sucks. Like, to know that you are put into a season for a reason, right? You're never in any season for no reason. But when you're in that season, so often we're praying for God to take us out. We're like, I'm uncomfortable. This is a hard season. This is, whether it's a negative season or it's just hard to make it through, right? Like, you're so uncomfortable that your main prayer is, God, get me out of this season. And so knowing that a lot of times we need to just sit in that season, like pushing us out of that won't teach us the lessons that we need while in that season. And that's hard. Look, I got like 3 pairs of socks on. But that's so hard to know that you need to sit in that season and feel it. You need to feel it in order to learn what you need to learn and get out of it what you need to get out of it. So to change that prayer, that's been a big one for me. Like, stop praying your way out of this and just ask God to heal you. Ask God to show you and reveal to you what it is that he needs you to learn in this season while you're here. And then just sit here and take it all in and process it all and experience everything you need to experience so that you can grow and let it evolve you. And so obviously that touched me. He said, there's certain things God won't take you out because you need to sit in it and feel. Some stuff you didn't learn because you were rescued too soon. That was just good. I mean, that there's a lot of, you can bring back a lot of childhood memories with that. Like when your parents would take you out of something or rescue you too soon. And it was like, you were, oh my gosh, please help me. Oh my gosh, mommy, help me. Oh my gosh, daddy, help me. Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. And when they rescued you, you didn't actually learn the lesson that you were supposed to learn in that moment. When we get rescued too quickly, we don't actually learn the extent of what we were supposed to learn, which sucks because I don't want to sit there. Like, rescue me. That has been a really hard one for me to change the prayer on. Oh, you did change your pick. Okay. I was like, I know, Britt. Who's Britt? Pause right there. Whoa, I'm going to watch the sermon. You didn't watch it yet? Carter, get there. It's Rock City TV on YouTube, and it was a sermon from Sunday. So it was No Shortcuts. So good. I had to save it again to watch later because I know I had to watch it again. Okay, it says, God won't take you out of a storm he can develop you in. Also very difficult, but that has really helped me, I feel like, make it through tough times with a better attitude, with a better mindset, with a better heart posture. Knowing that, yes, I'm in this storm right now, and yes, it hurts, and yes, it's heavy, and yes, it's hard, and honestly, I don't know how the heck I'm gonna make it out, knowing that, but knowing that you're in that season for a reason, that God will not keep you in a storm for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's keeping you in a storm, it's because he can develop you in that storm. Like, that's the reason for being in the storm. And when you have that understanding and that belief and that mindset while in the storm, oh my gosh. Now, it don't necessarily make it easier to get through, but it definitely changes your heart posture on the ride, on the journey, because now I know that there's a reason for this. There's a purpose for this. Like, everything that I'm experiencing, it's not for nothing. It's for something. Like, there's a reason that I'm going through this storm. And it really, for me personally, it helps me just open my eyes the entire time. Instead of focusing so much on the hurt and the pain and the struggle of the storm, I'm focusing on the end result. I'm like, I know that it hurts right now. And yes, I recognize that. I'm not about to be fake and act like it's sunshine and rainbows when it's clearly an earthquake. But, I recognize the fact that it's an earthquake. But I recognize also the fact that I'm coming out of it alive. Like, I'm coming out of it not just alive, but better than I went into the storm as. Like, I'm going to be a better version of myself. This storm is building me into somebody. This storm is evolving me into the person that God needs me to be. That's the most beautiful thing ever. I really feel like with that mindset, it helps you see the purpose in the storm and know that everything is not happening to you. It's happening for you. Like, yes, this really hurts and this sucks and I wish I could get out of X, Y, and Z, right? Like, we all have to go through hard seasons. We all go through the wilderness. Don't do that. So knowing that, for one, is very helpful. Like, knowing that just because you're in a tough season doesn't mean you're going the wrong way. that oftentimes can mean you're exactly where you need to be, because God will develop you in the storm. You know what I'm saying? I've had some issues. What's your issue, Carter? What you mean you've had some issues? Supposed to look at all the emojis. Okay, what else did he say? He said, God won't take you out of a storm he can develop you in. That also, I felt like that touched me a lot, just because I know, especially on Zoom, we talk often with the ladies about how we feel like we're stuck in certain storms. And that can be really hard when you feel like you've been in a storm for a long time and you're like, bro, my umbrella don't even work no more. Like, I'm drenched out here. Like, what is going on? And we try to rush our way out of the storm, but knowing that if you're still in a storm, it's only because God allows you to be in that storm. Like, you're not going to be in a storm for no reason. And so even those times when we feel like we've been in the storm for a long time, knowing and believing that we're coming out of this more and more and more and more evolved. Like, if I'm still in this storm, there's a reason that I'm in this storm. So instead of complaining all the time or focusing so much on the negative, you can focus on the fact that you're being completely developed. Ugh. Amen. That's beautiful. This was a really good sermon, y'all. If you're just hopping on, it's Rock City TV on YouTube, and it's the sermon that he just dropped on Sunday. He said, you're missing it because you're sitting there being bitter. He didn't say this. I got this in my head when he said what he said. You're missing it because you're sitting there being bitter instead of feeling it, so that it never happens again. He brought up in this sermon, one time when he was at the Cheesecake Factory, which was funny. He said that him and, I think it was his brother, don't matter, him and somebody else were at Cheesecake Factory, and he handed the lady her card, and she came back and said it got declined or whatever. And so the whoever he was with gave him the card, and it got declined as well. And so he said that they were so embarrassed, and they had to like call somebody for help, like, come help me, or I got to do the dishes. Like, we don't have the money to pay for this. And he said, I wasn't embarrassed. He said, I wasn't just sitting there bitter and embarrassed, because I know that if I sit here and I feel this pain, that this will never happen again. Now, he said it way more intense. Like, you got chills when he said it, the way that he said it, because that's facts. But even a small example like that, it's like we're so used to getting embarrassed by our downfalls, or so embarrassed by our rough seasons, instead of just sitting in there and actually feeling the extent of all of it, and not complaining, but being like, I'm thankful that I feel this down right now. Like, I'm thankful that I feel this bad right now, this hurt right now, this pain right now, because if I sit here and I feel it, then I know the extent of it, and I feel the extent of it. So now I can promise myself that this will never happen again. You know, like, I sat in that embarrassment, or I sat in that pain to make certain that that never happens to me again, that I never get myself in that position again. And I was like, ooh, he preaching. That's good. That's good, PMJ. I'll be talking to him like he's my best friend. That man don't know me from a stranger on the street corner, but that's okay. All I can say is, on the problem, honestly, I started letting circumstances change my mind and eyes, instead of keeping focused on God, and I lost my momentum quickly and badly. I forgot to just push through, but I know I'm aware and can fix it. Then that's good. If you're self-aware, will take you places that you could never go without it. Like, being self-aware and knowing what you did wrong, having that accountability, that will free you, because now you know what to do differently moving forward. Like, I mean, it sucks, you know, to backpedal. I don't know exactly what you're speaking on, I can assume, but it sucks to backpedal. But once you know that, now you can move differently moving forward. So it's okay. We all make mistakes. I hate that, but we all make mistakes. I recently found God, and you came across my For You page, and I just want to say I love your content so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I was in a spell of it'll never get better, and this is just my life, but I'm getting me back. Yeah, that's from the enemy. That's like the best tactic. To feel like you're stuck. I feel like the enemy, at least in my personal life, he makes me feel like everything is permanent. You know, like, the enemy will make you feel like every negative season in your life is permanent. He will also make you feel like the positive seasons are permanent. Like, this too shall pass is a vital concept to grasp for that reason, because it allows you to enjoy the positive moments for what they actually are, and not think that that's going to be the rest of your life. But it also allows you to take those negative moments and be like, this too shall pass. Like, yes, it sucks right now, but I'm going to get through it. Like, nothing in life is permanent. Nothing, not the good days, the bad days, or anything in between. Like nothing lasts forever. And when you know that, yes, it sucks in those positive moments, but it allows you to feel those moments more, if that makes sense. Like it allows you to bottle that up. But I do feel like that's a good tactic that the enemy uses, like to make people think or do certain things to get people to think that their current situation is permanent. It's the end all be all for them. Like you're stuck with this forever. Ooh, then you be out here doing crazy stuff just to make it by, not realizing that this season is only happening to develop you. Like every season is just that. It's just a season. It's all preparation for something. It's all development for something, right? Um, you're damn pretty. Thank you. I appreciate that. Devil definitely crept in for sure. And I fell for it honestly because I have my spiritual guard down. Yeah, it happens to the best of us, honestly. It happens to the best of us. You'll be fine. You'll be fine for sure. Good morning. What's up, K Woods? I'm writing notes from your live today. Period. Make sure you tune into the sermon too, because I'm telling you, he preached it much better than I'm talking it. I'm just saying. Okay, he said you're missing it because you're sitting there being bitter instead of feeling it so that it never happens again. He said you want rescued. You want a shortcut. Just feel it. Like, stop trying to ask for rescue. Stop trying to ask God to come take you out of that situation. Instead, ask God to open your eyes up to see what it is you need to get out of this season to be able to evolve you. He said, everyone can shout when the Lord giveth. How many of us can shout when the Lord takes away? That honestly, in my faith journey, that has been something very surprising to me. Like I don't know if I'm like delusional or if I just truly believe that every single thing is happening for me, to the point it's like if something gets taken from me, I'm like, hallelujah, amen. Like, yes, this sucks and yes, this hurts, but it must be part of God's plan because I know I'm living in God's will. And when I say that, I mean, I know that I'm staying obedient. So even when it doesn't look like it's working or it doesn't feel like it's working, that's not my business. You know what I'm saying? All I'm doing is listening to God. I'm literally just out here trusting the Lord. So whatever happens, happens. And if I know that I'm in God's will, if I fully know that all of my steps are completely out of obedience, then anything that happens, even the most negative things, that means it's meant to happen. It's happening for a reason, I guess is how I should say it best. Hi, Treasure. Good morning. Well, I felt this, period. And that's the thing I feel like about living in God's will. That's why for me, it relieves a lot of that anxiety, because when I know that I'm following God's steps, when I know that I'm living in obedience, I'm not so scared about the outcome. I'm not so scared about or questioning my decisions, because it ain't my decision. God told me to do that. I don't know why, y'all. We all gonna figure it out at the same time. Like, the why is not our business. The how is not our business. You either trust God and you do it or you don't. Like, that's it. And I say that because, like I said, I don't know if I'm delusional or if I'm just truly so in faith nowadays that even the negative things, even when something gets taken from me, right? Even when I left my household and had no idea what the heck was going on, even when I quit my job because I clearly felt led to do so, and I didn't have any answers as to like a stable income or what was going to happen next. Like, even when things got taken away from me, I didn't question God. I still shouted. Like, I still praised because I'm like, okay, I'm living in obedience, which means you have a beautiful plan for my life, which means if I'm staying faithful and I'm staying on track, you're leading me somewhere beautiful. Amen. Like, of course I'm going to praise even when God takes away, as I praise the same when God takes something away as I do when God gives me something. Because it's not about getting things all the time. Everything you're getting something from every experience. You're getting something from every encounter. Like, everything is happening for you. It's like, oh my gosh, life is so much better when you actually believe this. When you actually live like that instead of crying at every single negative experience. Now, when I say crying, I do cry. I'm just saying, I do feel it. I do feel it. But when I mean cry, it's like I used to just cry on the bathroom floor all the time. I used to have a pity party all the time, as if that's helping me get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you having a pity party as if there's not a beautiful outcome right there waiting for you? Like, you're crying about it as if it has no purpose, as if you're going through everything as punishment instead of a reward. Like, if there's a big, beautiful picture at the end and the whole process is leading you to that picture, then nothing is happening to you. Like, nothing is out of punishment necessarily. It's all happening for your good. That's crazy to think about, or to put it like that. All right, so he said everyone can shout. I know I'm going fast, but that's because I want to get through the Zoom notes too, because I won't be on live tomorrow. Tomorrow is every Wednesday now. I'm going to be doing the one-on-one calls. So I blocked out every Wednesday just for one-on-ones because they used to be sporadic, and the scheduling got too crazy. So now every Wednesday, instead of doing lives, I blocked out the whole day for one-on-ones. So if you're interested, I think there's like 2 more spots open for tomorrow, but you can look on the website. It has a little calendar on there. If you're interested in booking a one-on-one, you can do that for tomorrow or next Wednesday or whenever. So I won't be live tomorrow. Anyway, everyone can shout when the Lord giveth. How many of us can shout when the Lord takes away? I said, you ain't shouting because you don't see the lessons. And that obviously is for the negative times. Like a lot of us, we can sit there and praise God and we can shout and we can be excited when God gives us something. And when God takes it away, we don't see the purpose of that. And because we don't see the purpose in that, we're not shouting. We're crying. Like we're having a pity party. We're feeling bad for ourselves. And not that I don't think that always means like you're weak. I think it just means you don't understand the extent of what's going on. Like you don't get the fact that everything is happening for you. Like you're getting a lesson out of everything. And when you do understand that, you look at the negative experiences much differently. Much differently. That's a word, period. He was preaching. I'm trying to tell you, these are not they're my notes, but this is not my sermon. I'm just reading what he what he was giving. I was picking up what he was putting down. You feel me? It was really good. Okay, he started talking about grief. He said grief ain't just from losing a person. Some of us got to process the fact we won't be what we thought we would be. I'm telling y'all, please go watch this. Please go watch this. Sponsoring Taco Tuesday, that's crazy, friend. But no, I would, because I love me some tacos. Don't do that. Don't do that. I love tacos. Anyway, grief ain't just from losing a person, although that too. He said some of us got to process the fact we won't be what we thought we would be, because our way is not God's way. Our plans are not God's plans. Some of us have been stuck grieving the loss of the plan we had for ourselves. So bad that we can't even step into what God has for us. It was like all I needed was that little snippet of what he said, and it was like I took off in my mind. I had to pause it, and I wrote so much after that because that's facts. And if you be on any of my lives, I talk about that often. How I had a whole plan written out for my life that I made for myself without God in the mix at all. And when that plan did not go as planned, I sat there for years grieving the loss of that. Like I was sad that I lost that innocent version of myself. I was sad that the plan that I had didn't turn out anything like that. And I mean it in every aspect of my life. Like I very much thought I was going to get a college degree. Hated the whole college experience. Didn't like my internships at all. Like I didn't want to graduate. I was like, I don't want this degree. I'm not having fun. Like this is not interesting to me. Like I don't feel fulfilled when I leave this classroom or when I leave these internships, even though I'm in the field I thought I was going to be in. So I thought I was going to get a college degree. I thought I was going to get married. I thought I was going to have the white picket fence. Like I thought that I was going to have kids back to back to back. Like I thought that I was going to have things my way. I don't know why the heck I thought that. But we do, not even when we think it, but we hope for it, you know? And then when that plan doesn't turn out anything like what we imagine it to be, we sit there grieving the loss of that. And a lot of times we don't even realize that. Like you don't even realize that you've been grieving for years over the loss of what? Of your plan, not realizing that God has a much better plan for your life than you could ever even dream of. Like you can sit there and write out your own plan and it will be nothing compared to what God has planned for your life. And so often we don't even see that because we're sitting there grieving the loss of the plan that we thought we wanted or what we thought would make us happy. Not realizing that God knows us so much better than we will ever know ourselves. So, of course, I had to write that down because I'm like, that's good. I sat there for years grieving the loss of who I thought that I would be, especially in this season of my life. I'm 30 years old. And if you know my story, I left my cute little household. Like I put all of our stuff in storage. I quit my job. Like I'm like, I feel like God's telling me to go after something. And so I'm going to go after it. And if I look stupid, I'm just going to look stupid. And if I fall on my face, well, at least I tried. Like at least I can make it to the end and be like, I gave it my all. Like I went after something. And I had to really humble myself in order to do that. And so now sitting here at 30, in my childhood household, very much following my dreams, very much chasing after my calling, and feeling very fulfilled. Like I've never had so much peace and excitement in my life. But talking in the physical world, I never thought that I would be in this position. And so I can sit here and view it as a failure or view it as a setback or view it as, I could sit here and grieve the loss of who I thought that I would be at 30. Or I can take advantage of the fact that God's doing a new thing. Like God's building me into somebody that he needs me to be to take me places I never would have gotten by myself, ever. I never would have even thought that. Like if y'all saw my vision board from like 2017 to 2024, it's night and day. Like there was not even a thought in my head that I would be anything like who I am today. Like, and again, I'm not just talking worldly materialistic things. He actually talked about that. He brought up prosperity. And he was saying that so many of us are stuck in this definition of what prosperity is. We link it to money. We link it to finances all the time. And he's like, when are we going to realize that prosperity is much deeper than that? Like, what about the peace that you feel? You think you only made it when you see a certain number in your bank account. But I made it because I found myself. Like, what? I made it because I found peace, because I have a reason and a purpose to wake up every day. That's so much deeper than money. Like, money is just the extra. Money is just the little toppings. Money feels good. That's great. But money is not the purpose. You can be rich as all get out and still be depressed. What life are you really living? Like, you can survive, but you can't live like that. Like, you're not going to have any purpose outside of that. It's crazy. I keep getting so many live invite requests. That's strange. Okay, what else did he say? Let me run through these. He started talking about being connected to the wrong people. We're going to have to sit there for a second, because that's been a big thing on my mind lately, is watching who you're connecting yourself to, because it is that deep. But it is that deep. He said, I don't think he said that. I think I just, from what he said, from what he quoted, this is my perspective. I'll never arrive in the right place while holding on to the wrong people. And I said, can you submit your friendships over? We talk about submitting all the daggone time, especially on Zooms, but we talk about it on live a lot too. Submitting over to God. Like, what do you submit over? We say, oh, I want to submit my whole life to God, but then we leave out certain aspects of our lives. Like we can submit work, or we can submit X, Y, and Z. And we're like, oh, I'm going to keep this friendship though. Like, I'll submit this over, but I'm going to keep my relationship private, like, because I don't want God to take that away. And so that's what I meant by that. Like, can you submit your friendships over? Can you sit there and say, God, remove anybody from my life that's not supposed to be connected to me? Ooh. And don't just say it, because be careful what you pray for. There's a reason they say that, y'all. Be careful what you pray for, because God gonna see. God gonna see when that friend gets taken away, and now you sitting there having a pity party, and you're like, oh my gosh, that friend did me so dirty. Like, baby, you asked God to remove everything not connected to you, so that really was a blessing. Like, what? Anyway, can you submit your own leadership? That was a good one too. For those just hopping on, I'm just running through all these notes because this is from Sunday's sermon. Can you submit your friendships over? Can you submit your own leadership? Have you been leading you the wrong direction? We talked about, there's so much depth to all of these, so it's so hard to like just run through them so fast. But we were talking about that yesterday when it came to the GPS. Like, if God is the GPS and you're not listening, we be fighting with the GPS. We're like, I know that the GPS said to go right, but I've been left before, and I know that left is faster, and so I'm going to go left instead. And then we end up seeing something when we turn left, and we end up having to backtrack and still go right. Like, you're gonna follow God's will regardless. God's will is gonna be done regardless. If you want to detour and take the long way and then have to go all the way back, that's up to you. That ain't even my business. But anyway, he said, can you submit your own leadership over? Like, can you submit and say, God, I know that I've been left before, and I know that this way does make sense, but I want to go after whatever you want me to go after. Like, I'm not questioning anything. If you say turn right, boom, boom, I'm turning right. There's no questions asked. Like, I'm not questioning God's authority because I'm not putting my leadership over God's leadership. What? because I don't trust myself more than I trust God. Come on now, that don't even make sense. He said, have you been leading you the wrong direction? So is it the GPS that's leading you wrong, or do you keep trying to detour? Like, is it you that's leading you in the wrong direction because you're not willing to just hush your mouth and listen to what God says because you think you know better than God knows? He said it, y'all. I'm just a messenger. That it's not my sermon. He said some of us need to stop blaming people and circumstances. He said, you made that choice. That one kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie. The way he said it, he was like, you made that choice. And I was like, dang, you're right. Some of us need to stop blaming people and circumstances. You made that choice. When stuff, I'll stop there. I will say, in my perspective, when it comes to my story, y'all know, when I got out of that 7-year extremely toxic relationship, I sat there for 2.5 years crying about it. Like, boo hoo 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 hoo. Like, he did me so wrong. He absolutely did. But what are you accountable for? What did you do to you? You know, like, when you take yourself, I really believe that that's how I healed from that. I took myself out of that situation. I stopped blaming everybody else, even though they might have been to blame. He was a clown. He is a clown. Like, I don't know what to tell you. He was to blame for that relationship going as left as it did. But I was to blame too for how I treated me. I might have been a good girlfriend. That's great. But who were you to you? Like, how did you treat yourself? And so that was a big one, because I feel like that kept me stuck for a long time. Like, I can sit around blaming him all I want to, but I made the decision to stay. Like, I made the choice to forgive him over and over and over. I don't have enough time to sit here and give all the overs, because what are we talking about? Like, I made that decision to put his wants and his needs above my own. I chose to love him more than I loved me, and not just with the feeling, with the action, with the choice. Like, I chose to lay there boohoo crying every night as if my comfortability was not as valuable or as important as his. That's you chose that. You made that decision. So blaming him will get you nowhere. Even blaming yourself. I'm not saying put the blame on you. There's a difference between accountability and blame. You might not be to blame for what happened, but you're accountable for your actions towards yourself, not just for how you treated the other person. Because I've always been a good friend. I've always been a good girlfriend. I've just been a horrible friend to myself. That's where we need to start. Start with how you treat you. Like, that's so great. I love that you treat everybody else like royalty. But when you treat yourself like trash, you'll never be anything good to anybody else. If you're nothing to you, you'll never be anything to anybody. How can you? You can't sustain that anyway. Anyway, so you said some of us need to stop blaming people and circumstances. You made that choice. I know I'm going so fast and everything I'm saying is so deep. My bad. You better take notes quick. Y'all over here like, it's so hard to release. It is hard to release the wheel. It's so hard to release the wheel, especially if you've never released the wheel fully before. But you know what? I was watching a podcast today. I can't even remember her name, but I was only watching it because Jackie Hill Perry was on there, and that's my girl. Like, that's my girl. I love her. I love her story. I love everything about her. I love her swag. I love her voice. I love her depth. Like, I just love her. If you don't know who Jackie Hill Perry is, I'm questioning our friendship. Go look her up. But she was on a podcast episode. And she was talking about that, like, releasing control, and how it's hard to do certain things when you don't have that belief and that understanding that God is good. When you don't get that, I'll just put it in perspective for my own life. I won't tell her story, but for me, I did not understand. Like, I grew up in church, right? So I knew who God was, so to say. But I didn't know who God was to me. I didn't understand that God was good for me, that God had a beautiful plan for my life, right? That every step of obedience was leading me to good. He was never leading me to evil, ever. Or to destruction. And because I didn't understand that, I always questioned his authority, as in God. I questioned God's authority. I questioned God's leadership. Now that I fully understand and believe that God is good, that God will never ever lead me into destruction, it's not hard for me to release control of the wheel, because I fully believe that he's leading me to a better place than I could ever lead myself. And when you fully get that, when you fully understand the biblical truth that God is good, it's not difficult to release the wheel anymore. And I'm not saying that it's not hard. Like, of course, releasing any type of control is difficult, but I feel like it gets easier and easier and easier, especially when you listen. And that's what I say about faith all the time. Like, I think I had this misconception or misunderstanding that I had to just keep trusting and keep trusting and keep forcing myself to do X, Y, and Z for the rest of my life. It's not even like that. It's like, once you be quiet for a second and just listen, you will see that he keeps leading you to good. Like, you don't have to just blindly trust forever. You go through the process and see, like, God will prove it to you. God proves himself to you over and over and over and over and over. And so when you release control and you turn right when God says turn right, and it leads you to a beautiful place or to progress of any sort, now it's easier and easier and easier to keep listening to those directions, because you never get lost. God never leads you the wrong way. There's never been a time that I stayed obedient and was like, dang, I should have went left. I knew I should have went left. Not one single time. How do you think it's so easy for me to stay in faith? It's easy for me to stay in faith because he's never led me the wrong way. And that's what I've done the past year and a half. I listen. I'm just saying, I stay obedient because I'm like, no, I just want to see, like, if I do follow all these instructions, if I do start to listen to that little voice inside of my head that I couldn't even pinpoint for my whole life. I didn't know what that was. Instead of trying to figure out what the heck that was, if I just hushed for a second and listened, where would that lead me to? And I'm telling you, it changed my entire life. So it's not hard for me to release control anymore because it literally changed me in every aspect of me. It led me to the most beautiful spaces. Like, yes, I want to keep listening. When I tell you, I do not need free will. Yeah, because my free will led me to rock bottom. Like, when you hit such a low, like when you really hit rock bottom like that, I don't want to make my own decisions. I done did that and I failed. Talk about ride or die. Every time I rode, I died. Like, I don't want to be no ride or die. If God's hand is not on it, I don't want to touch it. I don't even want it around me. And I mean that deeply. I even mean that with relationships, friendships. Like, if God's not in the middle of that, I do not care how entertaining you are. I love that. Get out of my car. Like, I don't care how much I like somebody, how much I love somebody, how much I care about somebody. If God is not in the middle of that relationship, I don't want it around me, period. And I don't say that because it sounds good. I say that because I chose all of my relationships for my entire life, and it led me to destruction every single time. It literally almost cost me my life. My choices almost cost me my life. I don't want to make any choices. When I tell you even the smallest little daily things, I'm like, okay, God, what you think? God, what? Tell me what to do. I don't want to make no I don't want to make no decisions because I trust myself more now, but I know that I can only see a certain extent ahead of me, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily know what's to come. We never lived this life before. You have never lived today before. You don't have any idea what's coming next. Like, and I know that. So it's not necessarily that I don't trust me. It's that I have common sense to know that God can see all things and I can't. I can only see up to that stop sign. So who am I to say I need to go right? I don't know what's up there. No, I don't want control of the wheel at all. I'm trying to tell you. And you have to forgive yourself, grieve that version, and surrender that part of yourself too. Yes, absolutely. Literally me taking notes so fast. I'm so sorry. I will put the replay up if you guys want. I'll put the replay up on YouTube. Often I don't, and let me tell you why. Because y'all know I just be flowing with what I'm saying, and sometimes I get a little too personal. And I'm like, I'm not about to put that on YouTube. If you missed it live, I ain't running that back. But I'll watch what I say and I'll put it up. Hey, Jackie Green. What happens if you obey? That is so impactful. Yeah. To know my story is to know I started on a what if. Like, truly, I just wanted to see what if. Like, what if I do listen? Like, what things really changed for me? Because think about it this way. Because I was at rock bottom, there's nowhere else to go. Like, I can't get any lower than that. And so in my head, I'm like, if I do listen to whatever this little voice is in my head, it can't make my life any worse than it already is. Again, I'm not even just talking physical things, right? Like I had a house, I had a car, I had men, like cool. I'm not talking none of that. I'm saying when I lacked peace so much that it was part of my night routine to bawl my eyes out on the bathroom floor every night. How much lower than that can you get? When your only reason for being here is because you have a human, you have a child to take care of, when that's literally your only reason for waking up, how much lower does it get than that? Like what did I have to lose? Like what was the risk? And just like what was, you know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing that I could lose. There was no reason for me to be like, oh, I can't listen to this because what if this happens? What happens? Like, what are you talking about? The only what if was a positive one. Like, what if this does work? What if God actually is real the way that everybody said he was growing up? Like, what if my obedience really does lead to a reward? Or what if it really does lead to some type of peace? Like, that's not a scary thing to try to go after. It was like there was nothing scary about that to me. I was more scared of where I was at. I was more scared of the way that I was actually living. Do you know what I'm saying? Like all my friendships were not good friendships. Like nobody really saw me because I didn't really see myself. So not to blame them, but I didn't really see me. You know, like I wasn't going after anything. I had no purpose. My only purpose was to make sure my child was taken care of. But what life is that? Like you're telling me that God created you just to be here for one, like that doesn't make sense. You have a whole identity outside of motherhood. Like he's great and he's still very much a part of my purpose, but my child is not my only reason for waking up. I have a whole purpose here. Like it's much deeper than me. That would be great if you are comfortable. Hi Nika. What's up, friend? Okay, let me finish, y'all. Look, I just saw the time, like, oh my gosh, have I been on here that long? I forgot we started 2 hours late today. It feels very strange. Okay, he said, if you're just hopping on, we're talking about PMJ's sermon. It's Rock City TV on YouTube. He said, he said when stuff goes wrong, it's automatically the devil in your eyes. He said, but when it goes right, you the man. He brought up losing a job. He was talking about do y'all be Googling the numbers? What was the number? Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, he was talking about losing a job. He said that when you get the job that you've been wanting, I know I got a phone call and I swiped down, but he said when you get the job that you've been wanting, you say, "Oh, I'm the man. Like I did that. Like I did amazing things. Like I earned this." But the second that you lose that job, now you're blaming the enemy. You're blaming the devil. You like, oh, the devil is a lie. Like, how did I lose that job? And he was like, you didn't steward it well. Like the enemy didn't take that away. You took that away. You was late every day. Like he was coming at our necks. I'm just saying. I was like, you not wrong, Pastor, but give it to us a little slower than that. Like you ain't gotta give it to us dry like that. Anyways, he said when stuff go wrong, it's automatically the devil, but when it goes right, you the man. How many things weren't attacks? He said the enemy ain't take that job from you. You didn't steward it well. Like you did that. You took that job from you. Like we blame the enemy all the time. We're like the enemy took this. The enemy took this. The enemy did this. The enemy did this. You did that. You're the one that didn't steward that job well. You're the one that didn't steward that money well. You're the one that didn't steward that house well. That whatever it is, that friendship. You think the enemy, or you're blaming the enemy, like the enemy took everything from you, and a lot of times you took it from yourself. Like you were late every day, and then you blaming the enemy for taking that job away. What are you talking about? Oh, comfortable with the rebroadcast. Hey, beautiful. Hey, friend. Yeah, I don't mind putting the replays on YouTube if that's what you're talking about. I don't mind putting them on YouTube. There's just certain ones that I won't, only because I know I got a little too personal, which is fine when it's live because I feel like I say the things that I need to say for the people that are on the live, if that makes sense. But yeah, I watched one of them back and was like, Chelsea, you should not have said that. You definitely shouldn't say that on a YouTube platform that will stay there forever. Lives go away. I'm just saying, them YouTube ones. But no, I don't mind putting the replays up. Your video messing up. I can't see. Yeah, I was trying to answer a phone call. Not answer, but I was trying to see who it was and make sure it wasn't my son's school. Anyway. Oh, he started talking about promised land. He had everybody write down promised land. And then he said it's not promised land, it's promised land, which I do think is something that a lot of us get misconstrued or misunderstood. Like we say, oh, we're going to the promised land, but it's the promised land. Like there's a D on the end, meaning it's not present tense. It's already been done. That's the moral of the story. It's already been written, it's already in motion. God already planned it out for you. Like it's already promised to you. Like it's already yours. You just have to go get it. Yeah, he said, meaning it's already in motion. It's already yours. The enemy can't take away what God has already set in place for you. And then he brought up Moses. If you never read about Moses, please go open your word. Please. He said the enemy didn't stop Moses. Moses stopped Moses. He said, God told Moses to speak to the rock. Moses struck the rock. He used his own judgment, his own way. He used his own strategy, or a strategy that used to work, instead of staying obedient to what God told Moses to do. He said, not only did Moses not get it, not only did Moses not get to the promised land, the land that was promised to him, but everyone connected to him didn't get it. And then PMJ, this is the part that I kept backtracking on. Like y'all know on YouTube, you can just like double click and it'll go back like 10, 15 seconds. Bro, I did it so many times. I was like, okay, Chelsea, you're quoting it now. Like, you get it, okay? But it was so good because he started hollering. He said, I'm not sacrificing my promise because people connected to me want to do dumb. And he kind of stopped there. He didn't say the word, of course. This is a pastor. Don't do that. But you know what he was trying to say. He said, I cannot take shortcuts. Watch who you connect yourself to. Man, let me tell you why this hit so much. Because people say that I'm too deep about certain things, which is so ridiculous anyway. I never listen to that because I'm not too deep for anything. If I'm too deep for you, it's because you're not deep enough for me. So what are we talking about? Like, so it's not that I'm too deep necessarily. We just not on the same wavelength. Like I'm not for you, you're not for me type vibe. But anyway, people said that I'm too deep when it comes to who I connect myself with. And I'm like, if you knew where I was headed, you wouldn't think that. Like if you knew where I was going, if you saw where God was calling me to, you wouldn't think that I'm too deep or it's weird that I'm watching who I connect myself to. Because listen, the people that are connected to you will make you or they will break you. So if you have something promised to you, they can very easily sway you off track. They can very easily pull you in a different direction. I'm not sacrificing my promised land for nobody. I genuinely don't care who you are. My mama, my daddy, my sister, my pet. It don't matter. I don't care if I love you, if I like you, if we're in love. Like, I don't care. I know what was promised to me. And I'm going to do what I have to do to get there. And if you are swaying me off track, you have to get out of my car. Like, you have to go. I'm not sacrificing my promise for nobody. Bro, I kept backtracking that thing. I was like, run it back. Hold on, run it back. It was so good. He's like, I'm not sacrificing my promise because y'all want to do dumb like, hallelujah, hallelujah, amen. And we can break that down to a surface level perspective, right? If you're after a goal that requires consistency and you're connecting yourself to somebody that's inconsistent, what makes you think you finna get it? What makes you think that you finna get it? You're not. You're not. You have to connect yourself to people that are just as consistent as you if it requires consistency to get there. And if that person is inconsistent, you need to watch who you're connecting yourself to. If that means you got to ride alone, then baby, I'm cool. I got the aux cord. I'm cool with the music. Like, I can ride by myself. Don't do that. Learning to be alone is the best thing I ever learned. That's the best thing I ever did for myself, is to learn to not just be okay by myself, but to actually be happy. Like, to actually be at peace by myself and not be sitting there worried about when somebody's going to get in my whip. I genuinely don't care if somebody's in that passenger seat because, for one, I know my value. For two, I know exactly where God's taking me. It's an honor to be in the passenger seat. If you don't feel like that about yourself, you haven't found your calling yet. I'm just saying, because your calling is much deeper than all of this. Like, when you realize how huge the calling on your life is, You're not about to let nobody play with you like that. You're not about to let anybody come sit in the passenger seat. For what? Because you don't need anybody there to get where you're going. Does that make sense? The only time you settle is because you think you need somebody in the passenger seat to make it to your destination, and you don't. I fully believe and understand nobody has to be with me. I'm going to get there regardless. And if somebody that's amazing and connected to me and aligned and wants to stay consistent or wants to do and is willing to do what it takes to get there, wants to sit in the passenger seat, let's go. We can ride, we can rock. But the second that you get inconsistent and you try to sway me off my path, you have to get in your own car. And we can ride side by side if we have to, but you're not staying in my whip. Like, when I tell you I used to be so scared of losing people, baby, I'm not scared of losing nobody. I'm scared of losing me. I'm scared of losing what was promised to me. Are you crazy? We get so caught up in all these worldly relationships for what? Because for one, you can't lose anything that isn't God's will for you to have. That's all you really got to say about it. You can't mess up God's plan for your life. So somebody, if we're just talking relationships, if somebody is meant to be in your space, that person will be in your space. I don't care if I have to kick you out at the little rest stop. You're going to end up back in my car. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking in no toxic situation I'm not talking toxicity at all. But what's meant to be yours will always be yours, even when it don't look like it in the moment. But that's clearly the part I kept going back on, because I was so passionate about that. Because like I said, I spent my whole life worried about relationships. My biggest fear was always ending up alone. Now, truly, my biggest fear is ending up without me. Ending up on that deathbed and being like, I stuck it out with everybody for my entire freaking life. So worried about pleasing everybody else that I didn't make it to my promised land. Like, I didn't make it to become the person that God wanted me to be, because I was so worried about pleasing everybody else. Child, when I tell you I don't care, I really genuinely mean I do not care. Like, and not in a mean way. Not in a mean way. Like, I'm not saying, oh, I don't need nobody, I don't want nobody. Baby, what? My man, Cherry is a top tier individual. Like, when I say I need that man, ooh, but I don't need that man. You hear what I'm saying? Like, will he make my quality of life better? Yes. Will he be the one that makes me get to the destination? No. Me. All I really need is myself to make it to the destination. If he comes with me, hallelujah, amen. If he don't, I'm still getting there. That's just it. And I mean that with all my friendships. I mean that with family. I mean that with everybody. Like, I will lose everybody before I lose myself ever again. Especially when you realize what's connected to your name. See, when you have no purpose, when you have no identity, when you have no idea what you are or where you're going or whose you are, you look at life differently, and you allow people to play with you. You allow anybody to get into your vehicle, because any type of attention in that passenger seat is better than you having to sit with yourself when you're a stranger to yourself. When you don't trust you, when you know that you're not a good driver, but you're not willing to work on it, you're going to let anybody get in that passenger seat, or you're going to let anybody take over that wheel. Why? When you realize where you're going, no, not anybody can get in my car. And if that makes me too deep, then I'll just be too deep. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm more about energies. Like, if your energy is mad off and you throwing my energy off all every daggone day, or you making me question my faith or my destination because you don't trust it, you gotta go. Bro, we were talking about that last night on the ladies' night Zoom. Being connected, like how important it is to be connected with people that have a vision if you have a vision. Because the worst thing you can do when you have a vision is connect yourself to people that have no vision, because you don't get it. Like, those that get it, and those that don't just don't. Like, you guys are not in any type of similar season. So every move I make, they're going to question, because they don't get it. They don't see it. And they weren't meant to get it. You know, we say all the time, the call on my life was not a conference call. God did not call me and say, Chelsea, I'm going to have you do big things, baby. And then he called my mom and said, hey, this is exactly how Chelsea's going to get there. No. He called me and he said, this is the plan. This is where I'm taking you. Do you trust me or do you not? What's up? Like, and I was like, okay, I trust you, God. And that means you have to disconnect yourself from certain people. I had to disconnect myself from people that don't trust God. Not in a rude way. I ain't being rude. We can cut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can kick it. I'll dab you up. You know, I ain't gonna be nasty. But if you don't trust that God has a plan for your life, you have to get from around me. because everything I do is God. Like, everything that I say, no, we're not about to be talking like that, because you speaking negativity over my goals, over my dreams. It's a no. There's power in the tongue. You're not about to speak like that around me. You're not about to act like that around me. No. And if you don't get that, then we not on the same page, baby. You got to get from around me. Anyway, that part of the sermon was so good, bro. I'm telling you, I'm gonna watch it back. He was like, I'm not sacrificing my promise because y'all want to do dumb. I was like, come on, pastor, you're preaching. Hold on. Yes, thanks for the insights. Oh, you're welcome. That sounds similar to your standards are too high. Ooh, I can't stand when people say that. My thing was, people always said I'm extra. You're doing too much. No, baby, you're not doing enough. But when I say that, it's rude. I'm doing too much because I want to better my quality of life, but it's rude for me to say that you're not doing enough because you're living okay, being stagnant. It's like every time Chelsea says something, because I say it with my whole chest. I'm not about to, what? If you say something off the wall to me and you want to act like you control my response? No. And God's worked on me a lot with that, because my whole life, if you go low, I'm going to hell. Like, and not in a nasty way, but just in a raw truth way. Y'all know I'm very good with my words. So every time somebody said you're extra, I'm like, am I extra? Or are you not extra enough? Like, what is it? Like, I'm extra because I'm watching the energy that I keep around me, but you're letting every Tom, Dick, and Harry into your bed. What are we talking about? And then I'm mean. No, you're mean. Yo, y'all are triggering me and y'all ain't even saying nothing. I'm getting so triggered because I can't stand that. Especially, it's always been like that for me with parenting. Like, people are like, you're such a Pinterest mother. But the second I question anybody's parenting, it's a wrap. I'm like the worst person ever. They're like, you do too much because it doesn't make you a good mom because you make bento lunches. Okay. I was like, well, I'm not trying to prove myself to you. I don't care if you think I'm a good mom or not. And it don't make you a good mom when you pack PB&Js. Like, it don't make you a good mom when you pack Lunchables. That's not what makes anybody a good mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh. Your value as a mother is not determined by what type of freaking lunch you pack. Your value as a mother is more determined by what you value as a mother. What do you value as a mom? That's what determines your value. Like, stop looking at my bento lunches, okay? I'm extra because God made me that way. I don't know what to tell you. If you can't do the bento, get on Pinterest. Like, look it up, bro. It's so much deeper than bento lunches, but for real, I cannot stand that when people say you're so extra. No, I'm not. You're so deep. Okay, well, you're not deep enough. And if you want to live on the surface, I love that for you. I really do. But me and my household, we fully understand that there's a better quality of life than the life that we've been living. You're so okay living stagnant. Ain't no hate. I'm not hating on you, but I'm not about to live like that. And it's a big thing in my family too. Everybody around me lives stagnant lives. When I say stagnant, if you're not registering what I'm saying, it's like you're so okay being in the exact same position in 2024 that you were in 2020. Why? I don't want to do that. I know it's a trend. I know that it's normal. I know it's a thing. You know, everybody's keying that we stuck in the same position that we was 5 years ago. Absolutely not. Count me out. I want out. I want to be 10 years ahead by next year. Why? Because God promised me that. Because God offers that. Why would I live a stagnant life when God has more for me right there? All I have to do is go get it. Go get it. Like, what are we talking about? It sounds so crazy. Anyway, look, y'all getting me all track, and it wasn't even y'all. It was me. Hi. The problem is me. Yeah, your standards are too high. Oh, it was Brittany. Right there. Y'all see it? Don't do that. Scroll up if you need to see her. Brittany triggers me every single time. That's one of my girls in the private community, so I'll be calling her out because she knows I love her. My mom always says bad association spoils useful habits. Facts. That exactly. People pleasing is the worst, LOL, but also please myself for real. People pleasing is horrible. And that's not to say, like, I don't want anybody to get it confused. Like, I'm not saying go be a jerk to people or go act like you don't need anybody. You do. You do. You just need the right people. I will never be the woman that ever sits here again and says, I don't need a man. I do. I just don't need a boy. I need a man. I need a man on the same wavelength as me. I need a man being led by God. Yes, I do need a man. Because the man, my man, is the cherry on top of the sundae. Like, yes, a man of God will put everything back together for me. Like, it completes the sundae. You know what I'm saying? We have this mentality because we're used to dating worldly men. And when you date a worldly man, there's no completion in that. What's going to complete you? You know what I'm saying? I will never say that again. But when it comes to people pleasing, I feel like we just prioritize the relationship with other people more than we prioritize the relationship we have with ourselves, not understanding that everything starts within you. Like, everything. Your entire quality of life can be determined by how you treat yourself, the relationship that you hold within your own self, not within other people, because other people cannot make a life for you. You have to build that life for you. If you've never heard my ice cream analogy, that's exactly what I be talking about all the daggone time. When you have 3 scoops of ice cream in your sundae dish, my 3 scoops are me, so myself, my identity, God, duh, and purpose, which is mixing me with God. Like, when I am walking with God, I found purpose. So those are my 3 scoops of ice cream in the sundae dish. And then you have your toppings, which is, for me personally, I'm not speaking for you. For me personally, it's my aligned friendships. So all of my friends, my purpose partner, my child, is all like the toppings on top. So the whipped cream, the hot fudge, whatever you got on your thing, man, I ain't judging you. And then my person, my man, my guy, whatever y'all want to call it, is the cherry on top of the sundae. It puts it all together. What happens is a lot of us don't have 3 scoops. We have like half of a scoop, meaning we kind of know who we are. We know who we used to be 10 years ago, and that's all we have. We don't have a solid relationship with God, so we don't have the second scoop, and we don't have purpose. If you don't have a solid relationship with God, what is the purpose? How are you finding your purpose? That doesn't even make sense. So you have half a scoop, and then you're looking to people please all the daggone time. And so you're looking for those friendships and those aligned situations and that man, for sure, looking for the man. But you have no scoops in your dish. You have no ice cream in there. And then you wonder why when you do get into these relationships or these friendships, you still feel empty. You feel empty, not because there's something wrong with those people necessarily, but because you have no ice cream in your dish. What good is an ice cream sundae with just toppings? Like, you're gonna feel empty. And that's what happens a lot of times when we're people pleasers. We're so used to we want everybody to like us all the time because we don't want to feel empty. We know that when we take those toppings out and that cherry out, now we're stuck realizing that we only have half a scoop of ice cream in our dish. And now we have a hard decision to make, because when you know better, now you have to do better. When you recognize the fact that you only have half a scoop, now you can choose to live life like that if you want and go the rest of your life just knowing that you're empty, or you have to actually heal. And you have to do the work, and that's hard, and most people don't want to do that. Hence why majority of us are living stagnant lives, because it's easier than healing, or we assume that it's easier. It's not. It's definitely not. But people pleasing will lead you astray. I'll just say that. Hold on. Thank you guys for sharing the live. Thank you for the follows. Go find less. You hear me? For yourself, not for me. Y'all know that was a big one for me. When that little trend on TikTok came out, I was like, come on, they preaching. Because if I'm too much, I love that, first of all. I no longer take that as an insult. Like, oh, you're too much. It's one of them crazy. Like, don't make me do that. If I'm too much, go find less. Like, go find less than me, which is shouldn't be that difficult. Because if you really think that I'm too much, then you must know a lot of people that are less than me, right? Because I'm only too much when you compare me to somebody that's less. Otherwise, what am I too much of? Me? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm only too much when you're comparing me to somebody less than me. So go entertain them. Go do that. I love that. And you just saved me some time too. Because if I'm too much for you, then you were never enough for me, right? I mean, it makes sense in my head. Have to move with purpose. Have to. I'm the problem. It's me. Y'all always doing it. Yo, I be having to just hold myself accountable. It's me. Nobody be triggering me. Well, Brittany does. Don't do that, Brittany. Don't do that. Brittany do be triggering me, but most of the time it's me. I'm still on just doing errands. Okay, Carter. Period. All right, where was we at? See, y'all getting sidetracked. Oh, we were still on. I'm not sacrificing my promise because people connected to me want to do dumb. He said, I cannot take shortcuts. Watch who you connect yourself to. He said, not only will I not get it, but those connected to me won't get it either if I don't. That's why it's bigger than me. So we're going to just talk about it from the opposing side, because it's not just that I don't want to get sidetracked because I want to get my promise. It's because I understand that it's bigger than me. Hear me when I say this. There's people connected to me that when I don't make it to the promised land, they are not making it either. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what people mean, or they're supposed to mean when they say, like, everything that I do is for my son. And that's why it's like, it's not that my son is not a huge priority. It's that my son is the priority. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm working to get to the promised land because my son is connected to me. So when I don't make it, he don't make it. And there's a lot of people connected to you. There's a whole lot of people connected to you. Nicole, I believe it was Nicole, and I say that because it's not a personal or a negative thing, but yesterday on the ladies' night Zoom, she brought up the fact that there's listening ears, and all 34 of these people are hearing what I'm saying, but they're connected to people as well. So how many people is when they hear me say something and it resonates with them, and they go say it to somebody else and it resonates with them, and they go say that to somebody, like, how many people are you really connected to? We be looking at all these numbers, or we be looking at the people we come into contact with as if it's no big deal, but it is. It's way bigger than us. Like, it's way deeper than us. You're connected to so many people and you don't even realize it. You have no idea who's watching you. You have no clue at all. And so, yeah, who's connected to your obedience? Like, who's connected to your yes? Who's connected to you that's not going to get it when you don't get it? Or who's connected to you that will get it when I get it? See, when I make it to where I'm going, my family's coming with me. There's a whole line of people behind me waiting for me to get to my promised land because they know that they're coming with me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that in a weird way. I just mean it in a very unsurface level type of way, like a deep way to say it's much bigger than us. I'm not doing anything just for myself. I'm not doing anything for the money. Are you kidding me? Money comes and goes. I've had plenty of money before, and I done been dead broke before. Like, money don't make anything. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the followers. I'm not doing it for attention. I'm doing it because there's people connected to my yes. That's it. A lot of people connected to my yes. That's it. I said that. It's deeper than the money. It's deeper than a house. My purpose is for more than just my benefit. We talked about that last night on Zoom too, how I was so stuck on that sermon for a long time where PMJ said apple trees do not eat apples. I will never not love that because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm inspiring. I always got a word for y'all today. I don't know where it comes from. I know where it comes from, but it's not me. Like, I'm just a vessel. And so sometimes it gets really hard for me to sit alone behind closed doors and not be able to give myself that advice that I so freely give to other people. And I'm like, Chelsea, you know what to do. Just do it. Like, or you know how to make other people feel better. Why can you not offer this to yourself? Like, why are you not able to show up as this for yourself? Man, when I saw that sermon and PMJ said, apple trees do not eat apples. And he said, your gift is not for you. Like, it's not that you can't utilize from your gift at all, but your gift is not for you. The apple tree produces apples for the passerbyers, not for you. Apple trees don't eat apples. I was like, yes, bro, that's it. That just explained my whole freaking life. My purpose is not just for me. My purpose is not just for a nicer car or a bigger house, or it's not for any of this materialistic stuff. My purpose, my yes, is tied to a lot of people. And of course, I went deeper than that because, he was just speaking, but I was like, come on, there's so much depth into what he's saying. I had to pause it. I said there are so many people tied to your yes, connected to your obedience. I said, I'm doing it for me, but I'm also doing it for everyone connected to me. Like, it's bigger than us. How many people are waiting on you? Y'all know I'm a questions person. That's why my bestseller is Questions to Ask Yourself. If you don't have my bestseller, go download it on my website. It's titled Questions to Ask Yourself, and it's 192 questions that God literally asked me when I was in the process of self-discovery. So if you're in the process of self-discovery where you're prioritizing time for yourself, but you have no idea like where to even start, that ebook is for you. It's an instant download, so you'll just click to purchase and it goes right to your email. And I always tell people, like, you're more than welcome to shoot me messages if you get stuck on a question. Like, I'm freaking more than happy to help. I love it. I literally love the messages. I'd be like, "Ooh, I love that question. Like, let me help you. We also have a private community. So we have like open dialogue in that community every Monday night at 7 too, if you want further connection. But anyway, how many people are waiting on you? How many people are connected to you? How many people are connected to your obedience? How many people are waiting on your yes? Nicole brought that up last night, or pinpointed that thought in my mind last night when she was bringing up how many people are really watching or really connected, to me or to anybody really. But I was thinking so much about that. I'm like, bro, I was so scared to give my yes. And when I say give my yes, if we're just making it like a surface level thing, to give a small example, I was so scared to do lives. Like petrified. Trust me, I got the videos because I don't want people to never think I was capping. I was so scared. I'm like, I'm so insecure. Like, I'm not qualified to do this. Like, I don't have nothing to say. Like, I was like, God, you want me to get on what platform and talk about what? Like, I barely even knew God when I started going live. Like, I knew who God was, but I wasn't in faith as openly and as loudly as I am today. Like, I was like, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't even know how to speak right, for real. Like, man, I questioned so much. I'm like, God, I'm terrified. I'm so scared. How many people were tied to my yes? How many people were waiting on me to speak up? When I tell you, the amount of messages I've gotten in the past year is absurd. It's absurd. Like, I don't care nothing about anything else. That is literally the purpose in everything that I do. Like, all the people that I've said, you have literally helped me transform my entire life. Like, thank you for speaking. Thank you for, giving me somebody to resonate with. Like, thank you for showing up. There's been multiple people, even at my local gym. I live in a very small city, a very small little town. Okay. There's been multiple people that have come up to me at the gym and said, thank you. And I'm like, what did I do? And they're like, you just motivated me to get in here. This girl said, you're the reason that I come so early now and it fits so good into my schedule. Like, you're the reason that I'm here. Are you kidding me? I was like, what? I'm the reason that you're bettering your physical fitness. I'm the reason that you're prioritizing yourself. Oh my gosh. How many people were waiting on me to say yes? How many people were waiting on me to do it scared, to put aside my insecurities and go after what God told me to go after? How many people are waiting on you? Because it ain't just about me. I ain't just here to talk about myself. If I can do it, you can do it. What the heck? I'm little old Chelsea. How many people are waiting on you to stop being scared, to make the video or say the thing or start the business or do anything? Just do anything. Get up. Like, how many people are waiting on you to get off the bathroom floor, to stop crying about it and actually find a solution, make a change? How many people are waiting for you? That's crazy to think about, bro. It's crazy to think about. I was the girl that was like, I don't really have no value. I don't know what I'm supposed to be speaking on. And now just looking through the messages, looking through the comments, because my comment section is public. Y'all can see the comments. Just looking through the comments even. I'm like, so y'all, there was a lot of people waiting for me to stop being so scared. The reason I was so scared, the reason a lot of us are so scared, is because we think we have to do it within our own strength. And you don't think that you're strong enough to do it, because you're not. You're not strong enough to do it, because the calling on your life is huge. You need God. Why do you think that's the scoop? God is a whole scoop in the daggone dish. Like, oh my gosh. I tell people this all the time on one-on-ones, because we end up bringing up the ice cream analogy a lot on there, because it's the whole purpose of my life, right? And I tell people, I'm like, listen, I can give you a 1, 2, 3 step of everything that I did. I can give you a whole list of things that I did. All of my little habit trackers, my mood trackers, my whole routine. I can give you a step-by-step of how I created my entire life, my morning routine, my career, my night routine. At the end of the day, none of that means diddly squat without God. None of it means anything without God. Yes, I got the toppings. I got the other 2 scoops. I even got the cherry on top. The man's top tier. None of that means nothing without God in the mix. There's nothing that can sustain me. If God didn't do it for me, if I didn't allow God into my life, I would not have been as consistent. I would not be as successful. I would not be me at all. I would honestly still be on the floor. So I would be a fraud not to say that. Boom, mic drop, period. Hey, everybody. Hey, Charles. I'm sorry I missed y'all last night. Training ran long. What's up, Miosha? Miosha, are you in Georgia, friend? I'm pretty sure you're in Georgia. I could be tripping. But we got a new girl last night. Her name's Nicole. I cannot freaking wait for you to meet her. But she was on the Zoom last night, and she's from Georgia. And I was like, I know my girl Miosha from Georgia. I know she is. I am. See, I told you. I knew I wasn't tripping. Small word. Well, y'all both in Georgia, and y'all gonna get along. Why this making me want to post today? As you should, friend. I seen you posted on your story. Don't do that. Because I pay attention to the girls in my private community. I be in there. Like, I seen you post a story. And I was like, ooh, did she make a post? What was it? What was it? It was like Nicole Court or something. See, don't do me now. I be paying attention. I can't pay attention to every single follower. But the girls in my private community, I be paying attention because I be invested in their journey. I can't show up for you as God wants me to if I'm not paying attention. I've seen you made a post or a story, but I'm waiting for the actual post. I'm waiting for the videos, because how many people are tied to your yes? How truly you the one that was pouring into me. How many people are tied to your yes? Are you crazy? You got a lot of people waiting on you to speak. I'm just saying. I'm so bummed I missed it last night. I'm so bummed you missed it too. I brought that up. I was like, ooh, Brittany was gonna hop on if it wasn't too late. We actually were on till late. It was like after 10, wasn't it? I think it was like 9:40 something actually. Now that I think about it. I think it was like 9:47 or something. It was late. And there was only a few of us on, but we had such a good conversation. You know, I never care about the viewer count. I'll be like, if we got to have a one-on-one, I'm in there. Like, I'll be so hyped to talk to you guys. But I think that was, dang, why can't I remember like it was that long ago? It was me and Jackie for a while. So it was like a one-on-one. Okay, and then Sunshine hopped on. So it was me, Sunshine, and Jackie. And then Jackie hopped off. So it was me, Sunshine, and Nicole. Well, it was me and Sunshine for a while. And then me, Sunshine, and Nicole. And then Jackie got on eventually again after that. So it was great. It was exactly what God needed it to be. I loved every second, honestly. I got a business to start as well as Talents to Post Girl. Come on. I feel like everybody in the private community gonna end up with a daggone business, because we all like, hold on, I know I see value there. What's up? What gifts you got? That's like our first conversations. We be like, what's your story? What gifts you got? Come on, we finna make something shake. Let's go. Is the private community only for 18 and up? I think everybody is 18 and up, but it's not necessarily a requirement. The requirement is ladies only, unfortunately, for the men. No hate to the men, but my main goal with the private community is to not just have an accountability group, but to make a safe space. And a lot of times, at least for me, I can only speak for myself, me as a woman, I don't feel comfortable speaking about certain things with a male present. So that's really the only reason. But my guy will start his own little group eventually, so we'll help the guys too. Let me take care of the women first. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me take care of the women first, and we'll come back for the guys. But we'll help the guys too eventually, or somebody connected to me will. Facts. Think I should have helped on. You should have. I got like 4 different lines of designs in my Cricut design space, girl. Come on, Cricut. We have to get on that, y'all. We have to get on that. All my heat presses are just sitting in the back and just collecting dust. Doing what? I don't even know. Just sitting there. Come on, get on that. You need help? I'll help you. we could help you with a freaking website. Nicole's gonna start selling some soaps. Come on. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it in the group. How can we join the community? You just click the link in my bio. Click the link in my bio. It takes you right to my website. On that website, it's like one big landing page. It's actually really nice. I'm glad that I switched. But you can download any of my ebooks. They're all electronic books, so they're instant downloads. So you just click the purchase. It goes right to your email, and you can read it right there. You can also see all my work. So all my links are there. You can go to my Instagram, you can go to my YouTube, you can go to my Amazon storefront, you can go to everything. Literally all things me. You can book a one-on-one right there on the thing, and you can join the private community. So it's all right there on that one page. I could be making bank too, for real. Yeah, I had a t-shirt business for like 2.5 years. I made so much money. It was sick. It was sick. But I forgot God. So I didn't sustain it because I forgot the main source. What's your source? If your main purpose in doing it is for the money, then you'll get it, but you won't be able to sustain yourself because there's no purpose. So there's no longevity in that. And now God keeps pushing me to be like, no, you were on the right path. You just forgot me. Like, run it back and bring me in there. You know, run it back. Make the little t-shirts, you know, all the little positivity designs and whatnot. Put out the merch, Chelsea. But don't forget God's name in the mix. I'm just saying, Brittany is in my private community, so I feel like I can talk to her like that. Don't forget God. Because I'm just saying, you're gonna lead yourself to destruction. You really are encouraging and inspiring. I'm stuck in a dry season spiritually. Oh, thank you for being here. What makes you stuck? Do you know why you're stuck? I actually have a whole ebook. That's funny. I actually have a whole ebook that I've been working on for a while now, and it's the top 10 things that I feel like kept me stuck. That kept me stuck from discovering the person that I actually was supposed to be this entire time. And I wrote, there's so many more that I could put, but I feel like once you pinpoint what it is that's keeping you stuck, you can now find the solution in that. I quote that quote from PMJ all the time, and I'll never forget it. I'll never stop quoting it. PMJ, Pastor Mike McClure Jr., he said one time in a sermon, he said, we all think that our breakthrough is once we make it to where we think we're going, once you make it somewhere. And he said, we got that confused. Like, your breakthrough is not once you've made it. You hit your breakthrough once you realize what it is that's been holding you back. And I'm like, that's so good. Like, once you realize what it is that's been holding you back, once you realize that you're actually the problem, is the very second you realize you're the solution. You just hit your breakthrough. So that's why I tell people all the time, especially on one-on-ones and stuff, when they say, I don't know what it is that's been holding me back. I'm like, okay, let's look at your routines. Like, let's look at your mindset. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? And 98% of the time, they be like, well, I sit and I scroll through social media for about 2 hours before I get out the bed. And I'm like, you didn't need to pay me for this. I mean, thank you. Thank you for feeling like you needed me to have this conversation, but you know exactly what's holding you back. You just don't want to confront it. You don't want to say it. So I'll say it for you. It's you. You're the issue, but you're also the solution. So now sit there and journal that out. And I'm telling you, there's been so many one-on-one calling me like, am I popular? Sorry. Anyway, I'll be like, get a pen and paper out and write down why you feel like this has been holding you back. Like, write down what you do on a daily basis and see if it's circumstances that is holding you back, or is it you? Is it your decisions? Are you setting yourself up for failure on a daily basis? So before you go blaming the world, I say it a little nicer than that. I'm just saying, on a one-on-one, I'm a little bit more calm. I'm like, all right, love. I didn't want nobody to be scared. It's me on the problem. So many layers I'm discovering that I haven't healed from. Beautiful. Look, you just hit your breakthrough. I love that for you, friend. I'm actually being very serious. Because you realize you're the solution at the same time you realize you're the problem. And now you can start journaling that out. Like, start there. You know what I'm saying? If you know that you have a lot of things that you haven't healed from. I relate it to the suitcase analogy a lot. A lot of us, we went through childhood getting all this baggage put into our suitcase, right? And majority of it is not our fault, especially as children. And so now when we hit adulthood, we realize we now have to carry that suitcase, we see how heavy the suitcase is. But because we are not willing and ready to unpack any of it, we keep adding more and more and more baggage onto the suitcase. And then what happens? You hit a certain age and you're classifying yourself as weak, but you're not weak. It's just too heavy. It's just too heavy. Like, it doesn't matter how much you hit the gym. It doesn't matter how much muscle you put on. Like, it's too heavy because you were not meant to carry all of that to begin with. Like, what happened to you in childhood was never actually supposed to happen to begin with. Like, you didn't actually deserve for that to happen to even begin with. And because you didn't heal from that, because you did not, take accountability for that and be like, yes, I'm not to blame for that, but I'm the one who needs to heal from that. I'm the one who needs to unpack that. Now you're walking through the daggone airport with so much luggage and you're exhausted. You're tired. Not because you're weak, but because it's just too heavy. Like, that's it. That's the whole moral of the message. It's too heavy. And when you learn that, healing is unpacking. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, you don't have to heal overnight because life didn't get messed up overnight. Like, you don't have to heal overnight. So many of us are rushing to the finish line. We're rushing to unpack the whole suitcase, not realizing how valuable it is just to take that toothbrush out. If all you can do on a daily basis is take out a toothbrush, take out a daggone Band-Aid, it don't even matter. Just take out something. If you keep taking out little somethings, little by little by little by little, you will feel that weight lessen and lessen. Is that a word? Is that how you say it? The load will get lighter. That's the the best way I can explain it. Your load will get lighter. And it's crazy to me when people say that don't make sense. Yes, it does. Because you know that it makes sense when you're at that airport and that bag is almost over, what, 50 pounds? I think it's 50. It might be 30. I don't even know. Don't even matter. Let's say 40 for safe, to be safe. Let's say it goes over that 40 pounds. What do? Common sense tells you take out that pair of jeans. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? Just take something out and you be putting it in your check. Don't do that. You be putting it in your daggone carry-on. I've done that so many times. I'm like, oh, it's just a little bit too heavy. So let me take out a pair of jeans and put it in my little bag. Like, that's it. That's life. This is not rocket science. This is life. Your suitcase is too heavy. And no, it's not necessarily all of your fault, but it is your fault for not holding yourself accountable and saying, I need to take something out. It's your fault that you continue to blame yourself as if you're weak, not realizing that it's not that you're weak, it's just too heavy. It's just too heavy. You're not blaming the daggone scale. You're not blaming the daggone aircraft for not being able to put more luggage on there. No, you know that the rules are set into place because if it's too heavy, what happens? You're all crashing. You're all crashing. If all of us go on with 300-pound luggage, we're crashing. It can't weigh that much. There's a limit. And us as human beings, we have a limit. You've reached your limit. You reached your limit years ago. Like, you've been reached your limit before you even hit adulthood, which isn't fair. It's not fair, but you now have a decision to make. You can sit around and cry at the fact that your suitcase is way too heavy, or you can unpack. Like, which one do you want? Which one? This is not that hard. And you, like I said, you don't have to unpack overnight, but unpack something. Like, just sit down with yourself for a second. Take out something, like just a toothpaste. Can you just process what happened to you a week ago? Can you process what happened to you last year? Like, do you know anything that you actually experienced in 2023? Do you know how you felt at all throughout the year? Or you're just carrying all of that as if you have extra space in your bag? You don't. Your zippers are busting. Like, you have no room left, baby. Anyway, I've suppressed so much of my trauma, I forgot about it until I tried to move forward. Yeah, that's what happens. Suppressing your emotions gonna get you every time. We just don't realize it. Megan Ashley said it beautifully. I think it was on a KFS podcast. And she said a lot of us, we just sweep things under the rug. Y'all hear that all the time. But we just sweep things under the rug. And what happens is we think that if we keep sweeping it under the rug because we can't see it, years later when we lift that rug up, it's not gonna be there. That's not how it works. Years later, when you lift that rug up, all of that dirt is still there. It does not go away. Like, you cannot just suppress your emotions like that. Suppress. Anyways, you cannot just ignore your emotions like that. You can't ignore all of the things that you experience. You have to process all of that. I mean, you don't have to. You got free will if you choose to live with all of that heavy baggage, but that seems really uncomfortable. And it's not really fun. You're exhausted. You're literally breaking your back trying to carry a bag that you don't actually have to carry. It's not even your weight to carry. You don't have to carry any of that. See, we can go deep with it because when you realize that burden was not actually yours to carry, like that burden, you can just lay right there at God's feet. You can just lay it down. Like, Just lay it right down and be like, God, this is too heavy for me. And I understand that this is not my burden to carry. Carry this. And God will be like, bet. I was just waiting for you to ask. I was just waiting for you to allow me to take that. Like, you didn't even need to carry this. If anything, God will put some little wheels on that baggage. Baby, stop. God will put some wheels on that suitcase so you can at least wheel it through the airport. You trying to carry it for what? You're trying to carry it for what? You're trying to carry it because that's what the world wants us to think strength is. That's really the truth. I'll be the one to say it. We think that strength means carrying everything all the time. That's not right. That's not right. That's actually a major form of weakness. Thinking that you can carry all of that. That's crazy. Strength actually is surrendering that over. Strength is saying, I don't have to carry this. I don't want to carry this. I don't deserve to carry this, so I'm not going to. I'm going to surrender this over to God. I'm going to allow him to carry this. I'm going to allow him to give me the strength to carry all the rest of it that I do have to carry. And life is going to be blissful after this. I mean, it ain't going to be all sunshine and rainbows. But that airport experience is a lot easier when you have wheels on that suitcase. Better yet, the experience is a lot better through that airport when you have nothing but your little check-on thing. What do you call it? Carry-on. Thank you so much. None of y'all helped me. It was me. So, your little carry-on. Like, when all you have through that airport is your carry-on, now I can freely hold my son's hand. Come on now. We can make it much deeper. Now I can freely carry my son's hand or hold my son's hand. Now I can go experience things at the airport that I can experience. Like, they got Cinnabon right there, baby. You didn't have no room. You didn't have no hand for that Cinnabon. You couldn't see the beauty and everything going on around you because you're so busy carrying the luggage that you don't even have to carry, bro. That makes sense. It's hard when you think about it from a life perspective because everybody wants everything to be deeper than what it actually is. It is deep, but it's not rocket science. This is not difficult stuff. When you relate it to an airport, it makes perfect sense. You're not able to participate in certain things. You're not able to see the beauty in certain things that airport actually has to offer because you're so busy carrying this huge suitcase that you don't have to actually carry. Now me, I'm just freely just skipping through the airport. I'm having a time. I mean, I'm like, look over there. Oh my gosh, I never seen that. Oh my gosh, look, they got this, they got Whataburger. When I saw Whataburger, I think it was Dallas. I have flown so daggone much. I think it was Dallas that had the Whataburger. And I was like, no. I love Whataburger. I wouldn't have been able to get Whataburger because I was carrying that suitcase. Not to mention my child was right there. And my bag was so heavy that I had to put some in my child's bag. Don't do that. Don't do that. What baggage are you putting onto your kids because it's too heavy for you? We're gonna move on because it's about time to get off, and I ain't about to preach on that. Although I could, Lord knows I could. I'm tired. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm tired. I always had to carry it. Growing up, it's heavy. It is. It's mad heavy, and that's why childhood is the hardest thing to overcome or to heal from, because it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things that I still wish I didn't have to go through in childhood. Like, I wish I didn't have to experience that. I wish I didn't have to grow up like that. I wish. Like, you know what I'm saying? As an adult, yes, you're not to blame for your childhood, but you're to blame for the fact that you're still in this position today. At 30 years old, I'm saying that for me, I don't know how old you are, love, but at 30 years old, you are to blame for the fact that you're choosing to stay right there. You're choosing to live in that, to dwell in that. How long? Like, you have a decision to make. You can literally get off this live and be like, okay, I'm going to work on something. I'm going to do something. All the people that be like, oh my gosh, the private community is $12, $15 a month. It's like, but we're doing something. We're trying to go after something. We're healing things. We're speaking through things. We're having sessions where we're talking. We're openly speaking. We're communicating. We're giving advice back and forth. We're come on. You're doing something. You pay how much a month for Netflix? Doing nothing. What good have you ever gotten from Netflix? Nothing but entertainment, aka distractions. Like, you pay monthly for all these distractions, but you're not willing to invest in your self-discovery journey? That's crazy. That's crazy. I love when people say that. They be like, oh, you have to pay for that? Yes. Like, you have to invest in yourself the same way you do with everything else. All the distractions that you're so willing to pay for. What? But you're not willing to pay for a community of people that are like-minded, that could help you, that could help steer you in the right direction. And not even that. Forget how great the girls are. It's the principle. It's the fact that you're teaching yourself discipline. When the women show up on these Zooms every Monday night, they're teaching their self-discipline. One of the ladies showed up yesterday. She was on vacation. She was vacationing in Florida. She was in the bathroom. She not going to the bathroom. Don't be weird. But she was in the bathroom. She had us in her headphones and she was listening to the conversation. She even stepped into the bathroom to unmute herself, to say what she had to say, to vent, to tell us, to open up about certain things. You're learning discipline. You're showing up for yourself. Yes, it is that deep. Like, as much as you show up for Netflix, show up for you. Get a book. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make money. I'm being real. Like, forget the private community if you don't want to invest in that, but invest in something. Invest in something. Like, cancel the Hulu, the Netflix. These are distractions. In 2024, what are you investing in yourself? Like, what are you willing to invest? Get a book. Get a Bible, please. Like, you don't got money for a Bible. They're free. You can get them from anywhere. You can go rent one at the freaking library. Like, I just seen a bunch of Bibles at the library the other day. My gosh, people be having so many excuses. And it's like, don't stop. Your whole life is going to be an excuse if you allow it to. You can have an excuse or you can have a reason. Like, go after something. Or you're going to end up nowhere. And then what? You're going to be on your deathbed still blaming your parents? You're going to be on your deathbed still blaming the circumstances? That's crazy. I'm telling you, that's the scariest thing to me ever. To think about being on my deathbed and knowing that I was to blame for how my life ended. Like, I will literally lay there and be like, I didn't go after anything. That is the scariest thought to me ever. Like, it gives me chills every single time I say it on this live, because it really is that deep. Like, that is so scary to me. I just want to live life while I'm here. And so many of us are living dead way before we die. Like, you're just walking around living stagnant as if there's nothing here to offer you. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's a word. Oh, I'm glad you're still on, Carter. Yes, I had motion before. Then nothing, just still is worth it. Invest in yourself. Say that. Thank you, Nicole. Girl, I have your ebooks, ebooks Bible right here. Some of the books you recommend, just no motion. Ooh. Yeah, faith without works is dead. I mean, that's Bible. I can put some Bible on it. Faith without works is dead. Like, you can believe that it can happen for you, but it won't happen for you if you don't do the work. And that's the wildest thing about life. That was a wild realization for me, that when I realized I had so much more power than I knew. Like, everybody says life just happens. You can't control. There's a lot that you can control. How much of your negative experiences are you speaking over yourself? Because you have never read the biblical truth of how deep the power of the tongue is. You don't even realize that you are the one manifesting all of those negative vibes into your space. Like, you're the one allowing those people to speak negatively about you. You're the one keeping those friendships around. You're the one staying in that relationship. You are the one sharing your body with that person that you don't even know. Like, you're blaming the world when really, how much do you have power over? Like, how much of it is you? I'm telling you, that was such a hard space for me to be in, to hold myself accountable like that, but it freed me so much. I'm like, there's so much power that I hold that I didn't realize when I started speaking positively over myself. I'm like, no, I am somebody. And I know it might not look like it right now when I look in this mirror, but I was destined for something. Like, I was meant to be somebody. And I know that this environment don't look like it. You know, this is what I was telling myself in the mirror. I'm like, I know, but I see it. I feel it. Like, you feel it. Nobody can convince me that everybody on this planet has not felt that feeling before. When you sit there and you're like, there just has to be more to life than this. And you don't even really know what it is, but you just feel something. You're like, there has to be something. Like, this cannot be what life is supposed to be. It's not. I'm literally here to tell you, it's not supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to be carrying all of that weight. You're not supposed to be living a purposeless life. Like, you're not supposed to be on a road trip with no destination at all. And the crazy part is, you think that you're having fun because you find little bits and pieces of happiness, but you've never found peace. And happiness and peace are very different. The world does have, bits and pieces of happiness to offer. But if you think that's what happiness feels like, wait till you experience peace. Like oh my gosh, there's night and day. It's like when you experience it, you just want to shake people. You know what I'm saying? Those that get it, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Like when you experience peace for the first time in a real way, when you experience God in a real way, like you have an actual encounter with God. You just want to shake people. You're like, it don't have to be like that. You don't have to be crying like that every day, friend. Like you don't have to be questioning your relationship every single day. You don't have to question your sanity every single day. You don't have to question your purpose for being here every single day. You don't have to do that. Life is not supposed to be like that. Like there's so much beauty in life when you just open your eyes and go get it. Like you have to do the work. You have to put it in motion. Otherwise, I can promise you that at the end of 2024, you will be exactly where you are right now. And most of the time, that's why I love the one-on-ones when we talk about routines on the one-on-one calls, because so many times I'm like, run me your routine. And I'm like, friend, you're setting yourself up for failure. Your routine is set up for you to fail. Stop being surprised when you're failing. It's not the circumstances. It's not your past. It's not your upbringing. It's your routine. Every single day you're waking up and setting yourself up for failure. That's what you're going to continue to do. You're going to continue to fail because you're setting yourself up for that. And the beauty in that, though, is that you can completely reinvent your routine. Set up your routine for success. Like if I continue doing and living the same exact routine that I have right now, I will be 10 years ahead by the end of the year. Truly, I'll be another 65 something pounds down? Are you kidding me? And it's not about weight loss. It's about the mental stability that comes from the weight loss. It's the mental gains that come from the gym. I went to the gym 6 days a week all last year, bro. If I continue to do that, where will I be at the end of 2024? And I tell people that. All the one-on-ones I've had so far this year, I'm like, run me your routine for the year. If your routine is not set up, if you cannot honestly sit here and say that if I continue on this exact same path, I will be 10 years ahead by the end of the year, you have to reinvent your routine. You have to change it. And a lot of us, when I have them run me their routine, I'm like, okay, so nowhere are you providing yourself any type of clarity. You don't prioritize yourself at all. It sounds like in your routine, you prioritize everybody, every role that you play, but you never sit with you. Like the only time you prioritize yourself is in the shower. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm up for 5 hours. I'm literally up for 5 hours every single day before I ever have to clock into motherhood. 5 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's crazy. Most of us as mothers were up for 10 minutes, not even. You give yourself 5 minutes out of your day. Out of your 24-hour day, you give yourself 5 minutes in the shower. And most of the time, you don't even do that. Because we be having the door open, we hear the kids screaming, or our spouse needs something, or somebody needs something. Somebody still needs us. Or we spend those 5 minutes in the shower rushing so that we can get to our responsibilities, or we're thinking about our responsibilities in the shower. Like, you don't actually prioritize yourself. You sit in there like, you trying to hurry up. What are you talking about? You can't even give yourself a shower. Look, there you guys go triggering me again. Nobody said nothing about showering. But I'm telling you, I be so triggered on these calls because I'm like, listen, baby, I'm trying to tell you, life don't have to be like that. You do not have to rush through a shower like that. That's the least you can give yourself. That's the least you can give yourself. Like, prioritize that time. When we talk about weekly challenges, that's a big one that I recommend to people. When you're in the shower, prioritize yourself. Give yourself that space to think about you. When you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom, give yourself positive affirmations in the mirror. This is stuff, I mean, it does not take long, bro. I am beautiful. Like, think of something. Come on now. This is not hard. And if you're not washing your hands, you need help that's beyond me, baby. I don't even know what to tell you. But you should be washing your hands every single time you use the bathroom. And there almost always is a mirror in the bathroom, in any bathroom. When you're washing your hands, look yourself in the mirror and give yourself positive affirmations. Even if it feels like you're lying right now, you're training your mind to think positively. It works, I'm trying to tell you. Prioritize that, if anything. Stop bringing your phone in the bathroom. Please stop bringing your phone in the bathroom. It's a very toxic habit. When people say, oh, I just don't have time to prioritize myself, I'm like, do you bring your phone in the bathroom? I'm not judging you, friend. I'm just asking. Do you bring your phone in the bathroom? Because don't say that you don't have time when you're scrolling through TikTok while you're taking a poop. Stop. Be for real. You have all the time in the world. Put the phone down. Don't even bring it in there. Don't bring it in the shower. Don't freaking play music. Give yourself space to think straight. Sit down on the daggone toilet. If that's the only time during the day that you have, that's fine. Start there. Put the phone down and think about you, about yourself. Who are you right now? Who have you been? Who were you last year? Who do you want to be this year? Who do you want to become by the end of the year? Like, think about yourself, please. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. That part, that's how I know I'm not past my trauma. I'm not nice to my younger self. Ooh. That's big though. That's a big realization. When I realized how trash of a friend I was to myself always, then I started realizing, well, first I realized how good of a friend I was to everybody else. And I was like, so am I really longing for friendships from other people? Or am I really longing for me to be a friend to me like I am to everybody else? Like, why can I love everybody else, but I hate me? And so then I just started to become a person that I actually liked. I think most of the time that's why, because your spirit recognizes that you're showing up as somebody that you weren't actually created to be. Even when your mind don't see it, your spirit does. Like your heart knows that you're not the version of yourself that you have the potential to become. And so you start to resent yourself. You start to hate yourself. You're like, why are you showing up as this when you don't have to? You know what I'm saying? And so I literally just became somebody that I liked. I'm like, I just want to become somebody that I love. I want to become somebody that I can be proud of, because I'm proud of everybody else. I love everybody else. You know, I'm such a good friend to everybody else. I want to be a good friend to me. Like, I want to like me. I want to love the person that I am. And so I just became somebody that I loved. It sounds so simple. It really was. I know God chose me. I know this. I know my purpose and my calling. Period. So you halfway there. No, pigs is crazy. I love pigs. Oink, oink. Anyway, let me run through real quick. I'm almost done. And then I'm going to go have lunch. And then it's going to be time to pick my baby up. He brought up Proverbs 21:5, which I actually didn't read. I think it was 21:5. I put question marks on here. Oh, it talks about good planning and hard work. Actually, let me look that up. Proverbs 21. Y'all know I always got the Bible on deck. Don't do that. 21. Was it 5? It was. Proverbs 21:5. This is the NLT version. It says, good planning and hard work lead to prosperity. But Hastily? Y'all know I can't speak, right? Y'all know I can't pronounce nothing. I think it's hasty. I know, I'm so sorry, but I have to look it up. Pronounce. I think it's hastily. But let me make sure, because I want to know what it means. With excessive speed or urgency. Oh, hastily. There ain't no I in mine. That says hasty. H-A-S. Y'all probably be so sick of me doing this, but y'all know I can't just skip through words. That's why a lot of y'all ain't getting no benefit from the Bible, because y'all just skipping over everything. Y'all don't even care what it means. You're not looking nothing up. Don't do that. Look it up. It's free. Google.com. What does it mean? Hold on. What did he say? Oh, it's hasty. Okay. Hasty. Done or, it's the same thing. It's the adjective. Done or acting with excessive speed or urgency. So hurried. Hasty. It means hurried. See, I'll be jotting them down in my Bible and everything. Like, I'll be needing to know the definitions. So hurried. It says, good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hurried shortcuts lead to poverty. Bro, that's biblical. Like, I just read that out the word. That is like, when I tell you the Bible has all the answers that we need. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity. Now, the PMJ did mention prosperity does not always equal money. We the worldly version of ourselves, we're always thinking money. We're like, okay, now we're going to get rich. What about everything else? Like, yes, that's part of prosperity, but what about the peace that you'll find? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about the joy that comes with it? What about all these other things that come from following God, that come from the planning and the hard work? So anyways, when he was talking about that, there was a whole lot that I wrote down with that, because for me, I do the hard work. I don't do the planning. I'm just saying. It says good planning and hard work. So which one are you missing? Are you not planning well, or are you not working hard enough? Like, which one? Because you need both of them. So if you're going into 2024 with no plan, you can work as hard as you want to, where are you going to end up? Like you're expecting prosperity without sticking to the actual verse. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hurried shortcuts. So when you're trying to hurry up and get things done, when you're trying to take the detour all the daggone time, it leads to poverty, bro. It's in the word. Don't shoot the messenger, baby. I'm just reading it. It leads to poverty. You're going to be empty. Again, if we're not just talking finances, you're going to be empty inside then. You're trying to hurry up. You're trying to get the ice cream toppings without the ice cream. You're trying to get the cherry, aka the man, with no depth to you. You have no ice cream in the dish. You're trying to take shortcuts. You're trying to hurry it up. Man, y'all be having me preaching on this app. It's crazy. I said good planning and hard work. What part are you missing? Prosperity isn't always money. When God says prosperity, you so thirsty for money. He said that in the sermon. Then he said, miracles shouldn't be a necessity for your faith. A lot of times we're relying on God to come through with the miracle for us to believe. Crazy. And that'd be like our daily thing. He brought up bills. He's like, we sitting there begging God. We're like, okay, God, it's like the 20 something, it's the 20th and I need the money by the 1st. Like, and we're rushing God. We're trying to get all these big miracles and we're relying on a miracle to come through. We're relying on God to come through for us to have faith. That's crazy. That's crazy. So he said that. He said, you asking for $1 million. God gave you $1 million idea. You just ain't willing to put the work in. Y'all. Like, are you kidding me? It's like, how can I even read it straight through like this? I'm really trying to hurry through the notes. But please go watch this sermon, okay? It's Rock City TV on YouTube. It's No Shortcuts from PMJ. He just posted it on Sunday. He said, you asking for $1 million. And he was like, what's crazy is God gave you $1 million idea. You have the $1 million. And that's why he brought up prosperity and how we relate it to finances. Because when people say, oh, you've reached prosperity, we're looking at money. When we read prosperity in the Bible, we're like, oh, God's going to give me $1 million. What if, I'm just asking what if God gave you $1 million idea that you're sitting on? You have the $1 million. Like, it's literally already yours. You know how many books I have written? Be for real. I'll call myself out. I mean, I'm going to call y'all out too. Don't do that. But I'm going to call myself out. I have so many books just written, just sitting there. Just sitting there. When I say my notes section is crazy. What $1 million book did God give you, but you're just sitting on it? And now you're waiting for the money to hit. Why are you waiting for the money to hit? You already have it right there. You have the $1 million idea. You just have to put it into motion. You have to actually go after it. Faith without works is dead. Good job, class. What was it again? The sermon? The verse that I just read was Proverbs 21:5, but the sermon that I'm talking about is Rock City TV, like rock, ROCK, like actual rock. Rock City TV on YouTube. And the pastor is PMJ. It stands for Pastor Mike McClure Jr. But yeah, it's Rock City TV on YouTube. And he just posted it on Sunday. So you could watch any of them. I watch them every Sunday. Every Sunday. I don't miss. They're all good. But it's called No Shortcuts. And if you've never heard me talk about Rock City TV, it's so good. Their setup is so great for me. I'm a very structured, like I thrive on a routine. I thrive on a structure. But on Sundays, he goes live and he preaches his sermon. And then Monday through Friday of that following week, they do what's called Devo Energy, where every morning, for like an hour or so, they go live with 4 different members or leaders of the church. And they go over their perspective of the message from Sunday. It's so good. And each day is different. So Monday through Friday, there's 4 different leaders of the church. And they're giving their perspective on the Sunday message. It's so good. There's so many times I watch the Devo Energy and I'm like, I didn't even think about that when he said that. Like, I love that he said that. Like, that was such a good perspective. So yeah, it holds me accountable and it makes me excited to watch the Devo Energies, especially when I know I tuned into the sermon. Because now I'm like, oh yeah, I want to hear what their thoughts were. God's told me to write my book so many times. I bet we just be sitting here doing what? And then we'd be crying. That's really the crazy part. We'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm broke. Oh my gosh, I've never hit prosperity. I've been so obedient and I haven't seen any prosperity. Have you? Have you really, friend? Because you've been sitting on those books for years. Like, I just told y'all. I just called myself out. I got like 3 heat presses in the back. For what? You had a whole t-shirt business. You just forgot God. You know what I'm saying? But I'd be too scared to run it back. Because I'm like, no, I don't want to do that again. And God's like, but you do it with me this time. You'll find purpose in it this time if you do it with me. Like, you got all this stuff sitting there. And then you crying about not having your bills paid. You're not doing the work. You got the $1 million idea. He done been gave you that. I put ouch. I put ouch in parentheses because I was like, you did not have to holler at me like that, Pastor. Anyway, you've been working hard but never had a plan. You just been working. Going where? That was me. He didn't say that. I said that to myself on the treadmill this morning. I'm a very hard worker. I'm not a very good planner. I'm more spontaneous. I'm like, we'll see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. And God's like, no, you didn't read what I put in Proverbs. Good planning and hard work. Where are you going? What's the plan? What's the business plan? What's your mission? What's your source? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You're just letting life happen. That's crazy. Make a plan. Make a plan. That was for me and for y'all, whoever needed it. Please make a plan. Make a plan for 2024. That's what our vision boards are actually supposed to be. It's supposed to be a plan. We really just out here making goal boards, wish boards. Like, let me not come at y'all. But for real, we making wish boards. Like, oh, I wish one day. I hope one day. No, I don't hope nothing. Stop making so many goals. Make decisions, okay? At this big age, we don't need no more goals. You've been chasing after the same goal for 25 years. Make a decision. Decide that you're going to actually go get it and then go get it. Like, just go. Make a plan. You know, when you make a decision, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between a goal and a decision. When I have a goal to go on vacation, I'm not actually putting things in motion because I'm just wishing that it actually happens. When I decide to book that trip, I'm making sure that I'm ready for the trip. I'm making sure I got my outfits ready. I got my nail appointment. I got my hair appointment. What? If I'm going to Jamaica, baby, I'm going to do it good. I'm going to look good, okay? If I decide to do that, I'm putting things in motion to make sure that it happens. And that's what's holding a lot of us back. We have goals. We don't have decisions. You didn't actually decide to do that. You put it on your goal board, which is supposed to be a vision board. There's a difference between a vision and a goal. A goal is something you're hoping to achieve. Vision is something you know is already yours. You just have to go get it. I'm not going to preach on it, but I'm just saying. Anyway, he said 2024 is the year I get the plan. God ain't sending it to me till I get the plan. What's the plan? He said, if you don't come up with a plan, you're going to just be doing dumb stuff like you did last year. He did say that. Those were his words. He said, then you blaming God for not fixing your dumb decisions. When you don't have a plan, you're just doing anything that makes sense to you in the moment. Mind you, a lot of times when you have no plan, you're running based on how you feel at any given moment. So your feelings are dictating your actions, which is why you feel lost as all get out, because you have no plan set into motion. So when you wake up and don't feel like it, you don't. When you wake up and feel sad, it stops your plan because you have no plan. You know what I'm saying? I've stayed consistent for the past year and a half because I have a plan. I have a vision. I don't care if I wake up and don't feel like it. That does not matter. Cry it out, Chelsea. Like, you can be nice to yourself. You don't have to be rude. Feel your feelings for sure, but my feelings come with me. I'm not going to let my current feeling dictate my actions because I'm sticking to the plan. What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? If you have no plan, your feelings will always run you. And that leads where, especially as females. Our feelings are so up and so down and so everywhere. Bro, what are we talking about? When especially us as females, I'm not speaking for the men because I ain't never been no man. Don't know how your minds operate. But for me, as females... If we run based on our feelings, we will be lost every single time because half the time we don't even know what's going on. I'm really only myself for like 1 week out of the month. Because you're in your cycle, you got pre-cycle, you got post-cycle, and now I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with me. My hormones are everywhere. I'm crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm feeling, what's going on. What's the plan? When you have a plan, you don't have to focus so much on how you're feeling in the moment. You know how you feel. That my feelings come with me. Don't invalidate them. I think that's, I always get that disclaimer. Don't invalidate them, because your feelings are very much valid. You know what I'm saying? Feel them, but take them with you. And when you don't have a plan, now your feelings are stopping you from going after what you're supposed to be going after. See, I had a plan for the past year and a half. So everything that I felt came with me. Put it in my gym bag. When I say, I'll be so honest, I've been crying on the treadmill. I cried in that gym bathroom more times than I can even count, because I don't care. I have a plan. What's the plan? 6 days a week? Okay, bet. So when you don't feel like it, that's great. Don't feel like it on the way to the gym. Like, what's the plan? What's the plan? Say that vision board versus goal thing again. What'd I say, friend? I was talking about, I actually did a whole live on that when 2024 hit. But I was talking about how a lot of us have goal boards, and there's a difference between a goal and a vision. Like, a goal is something you're really crossing your fingers and hoping to go after. It's more of a wish. You know, your wish, it's wishful thinking. But a vision is something that you see with your heart, something that you already know is yours. A vision is something you get from God. We talk about that often too. I talked about, I think it was Joshua that I was talking about, the verses there, or the story there. The difference between sight and vision. Like, sight is something that you see with your eyes, whereas vision is something that you see with your heart. Vision is something that you get from God. It's like, it's a glimpse of what's promised to you. It's a glimpse of what God has in store for you. And when you see it, you don't unsee it. A vision board is supposed to be that. A vision board is supposed to be a glimpse of what you are expecting in 2024, not a goal. Not a goal, it's a decision. And that's what I was saying. There's such a big difference between a goal and a decision. A goal is childish. And I'm not saying don't set goals. Set them. But set them as a decision. What are you doing in 2024? Not what you're hoping to do. Not what you wish to do. What are you doing? You're a grown adult. What's your decision? What decision are you making? There's a lot of us that need to make decisions for 2024. Otherwise, you're going to end up exactly where you did last year. Where were you in December? If you spent December, even New Year's Eve, salty at how you ended up last year, when are you going to make a plan for the new year? Like, what are we talking about? It's freaking January 16th. You have no plan? You have a goal board? What's a goal board? What are we talking about? This is why vision boards keep getting like negative stigmas now, because everybody's like, oh, none of that happened. Well, duh, because you wished. You literally made a vision board and then sent a wish up. That's not what it's supposed to be. My vision board is things that God has given me a clear vision on for my life. So I am spending all of 2024 going after exactly that. Everything that I see on that board, when I tell y'all, it's on my iPad, not my iPad, it's on my MacBook, like my screensaver, it's on my phone, it's my wallpaper. I got my vision board everywhere. I think I actually still have it in the car from that live that we did. Like, I have an actual big circle one that I glued all the pictures on from Pinterest. I made it in Canva from Pinterest. I downloaded all the things, made it in Canva, downloaded the digital copy to my phone, sent it over to my MacBook to put on my my wallpaper, and then printed them all out at Walgreens to put on my thing, because I don't play about my vision board. It's not little kid stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be where I'm at right now at the end of the year. And so when I see it, everywhere that I look, when I see it, I'm manifesting it. I'm working towards it. I'm checking things off all year. Are you crazy? I'm like, oh, I did that. What are you setting into motion? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a goal. A goal is like, oh, in 5 years, I hope to lose 10 pounds. Like, we set goals like that. Or I hope to be really skinny. I hope to have a bigger butt. Like, these are goals, okay? It's not going to make or break you if you don't hit it. But a vision is much different. I have no choice but to hit that vision, because I want everything God has for me. That's the difference between a vision and a goal. A goal is really what you want for yourself. A vision is something God has for you. Those are different. I'm just saying, I ain't trying to come at y'all. But anyway, we're almost done. We're almost done. Talk that talk, CJ. Hi, Nika. The difference. Yeah, did I answer your question, friend? Oh, yeah, she said that part. Okay. 2024 is the year I get the plan. God ain't sending it to me till I get the plan. What's the plan? Oh, that's where he left off. He said, if you don't come up with a plan, you're gonna just be doing dumb stuff like you did last year. then you're blaming God for not fixing your dumb decisions. So you're blaming God as if he didn't come through for you, but you didn't listen all daggone year. You never even set the plan. So you were just mindlessly living. Like, you weren't even really doing anything. And now you're blaming God for not fixing all of your dumb decisions that you put yourself in. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, he said he warned us. This was a warning. I'm almost done now. But this was the warning. He said, the second you write that plan down, the enemy's going to walk in the room and see if you're really committed. And it's really crazy to think about, because the enemy really don't have to work that hard. Like, as soon as a lot of us see the enemy come in the room and try to distract us, we're instantly distracted. I've said that on live before. Like, the enemy's using old tricks. Like, he has nothing new. But so many of us, he's not even really attacking us. It's that he attacked us 5 years ago, and we're still stuck on that same attack. So the second we get any type of trigger, the second we feel any type of distraction, we automatically sway off our path. We leave the plan because we didn't even have a set plan put into place. You didn't even know what you were doing. And so now you have to think straight all the daggone time. So you're trying to maneuver through all these crazy feelings that you're going through. You're trying to make it to where you're going with no plan. And then the second that the enemy comes in your head at all, or comes into the room at all, you're instantly swayed. Because you don't even know where you're going. You have no roadmap. You have no plan. What are you talking about? So he said, basically, be careful when you write that plan down. Because the enemy's now going to be looking over that plan and be like, okay, I can hit her here. I can distract her here. I can make her question herself here. Like, I can have her question everything here. He also, I think it might have been the podcast. It don't matter. Somebody this morning in my headphones said that, the enemy's not after the things that you have. You know, the enemy don't want your job. He's not about to take your position. Like, when he takes that position, or if he did take that position, it's not because he wants your job. He wants your faith. I was like, ooh, that's good. That's good. Like, he's going to distract you in any way that he can, not because he wants what you have, but he wants your faith. And he knows that if he takes you off your path a little bit, your faith is going down with it. It was good. It freed me. He said a shortcut. It's like I'm going so fast and there's so much depth to what I'm saying, but I wanted to get through all the notes. He said a shortcut leads to immediate satisfaction. I always mess that up. A shortcut leads to immediate satisfaction, but it's not a setup for success. It's a setback that creates lack. Shortcuts produce results, but don't produce the strategies and habits needed to sustain what you have. That was good. That was good when he said that. He's like, you might make it to where you're going. If you take that shortcut, you might make it to where you're going, but the journey is the preparation. So even when you do get there with that shortcut, you're not prepared for where the destination is. Does that make sense? You're not prepared for where you're going. So now what? You got to backtrack any daggone way. You have to go back regardless, because God's not going to put you in a season that you're not prepared for. God's not going to release the promise if you're not prepared for the promise. So even when you take that shortcut and you feel like, oh, I made it, you cannot sustain yourself there, because you didn't evolve into the person God needed you to be where you are. You have to go back any daggone way. That's crazy. You're better off just submitting to the process. When God says turn right, turn right. Go through the storms, go through the wilderness, go through the hard times, because that's what's building you. That's what's evolving you into the person God needs you to be to step into that promised land. You know what I'm saying? This is not my sermon. I mean, those are my perspectives, but I'm really just reading. Y'all should go watch the sermon. I'm just saying. He said you want to go around struggle. Oh, yes, that makes so much sense. That's good. Thank you. We want to go around struggle, but God won't release the promise if you skip the process. He said, I want no shortcuts. I want all the lessons from the wilderness. And that was the last. He started singing. He started preaching. It was so good, y'all. There was, even after all these notes, there was still like another 25 something minutes, because he was just singing, boy. And my pastor can sing. I was like, come on, you better hit them notes, baby. You better hit them notes. The sermon is No Shortcuts by PMJ. It's Rock City TV on YouTube. Rock, like ROCK, like an actual rock. Rock City TV on YouTube. And he just posted it this Sunday. So this is this Sunday sermon. No Shortcuts. So good. I mean, it's still good. We spent 2 days talking about this because we talked about it yesterday on live too.